love food colored green, bell peppers and long string beans, pickles, celery, cucumbers too. All these foods are good for you.
Welcome to Storytime Cooks, where we learn about food through books. I'm Carmen Long, Area Extension Agent with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. Today we're going to be reading The Apple Pie Tree by Zoe Hall. Yesterday at my house, I was picking apples from my tree, and it was so much fun, and it started me thinking about what would I like to do with those, and apple pie is one of my favorite things. Let's learn a little bit more about apples and how they grow and maybe some of the things that we can do with them. My sister and I have a tree that grows the best part of an apple pie. Can you guess what that might be? What would be the best part of an apple pie? I think I might know. I think it might be the apple. And every year we watch our apple trees grow. In the wintertime, our apple trees are brown and bare. They're not very pretty then, are they? But then as spring comes, leaves come out on every branch. And look, there are 2 robins, and they're building a nest in our tree. Here's the little girls that have the apple pie tree at their house. And then these beautiful pink flowers and the buds appear on the branches, and the robins chirp loudly. And those robins have eggs in their nest. They have pretty blue eggs in their nest because robins' eggs are blue. But I love all these pink flowers, and they smell so good. And just when the flower buds open, baby robins break through the eggshells. And there's 1, 2, 3 little birds in that nest. And the mama's feeding them a worm. I'm glad our moms don't feed us worms, aren't you? And now the tree is covered with blossoms, and the baby robins begin to grow feathers. We've got a pretty butterfly in our tree too. When the breeze blows, the petals fall to the ground. It almost looks like it's snowing, but it's not. That's just apple blossom petals blowing around. And the mama and the papa robin teach their baby birds to fly. Some days it rains and the wind blows hard, but our apple tree is strong and the robins are safe in the branches in their little nest. And we need that rain for the tree to grow and all the other flowers. Where all those buds were, small green apples grow, just on those blossoms, or just where the blossoms used to be. I see a ladybug in this picture. Does anyone else see that ladybug crawling up that branch? It's a pretty little red ladybug. Soon it is summertime, and that's the season we've been having, isn't it? Where it's been nice and warm, and the apples get bigger and bigger. And the little robins have grown up, but they visit every day. And they're watching these girls play in the sprinkler. That looks like a fun thing to do on a hot day, doesn't it? The branches bend down low. They're covered with big round apples. When the branches get heavy, they bend, don't they? And there's beautiful red apples on all those branches. And guess who else loves to eat apples? And they eat the apples at my house too. We've got some deer that are down here eating all those apples that fell on the ground. Now it's autumn, and September is kind of the start of autumn, isn't it? The apples are red and they're ready to be picked, and we fill our baskets to the brim. Have any of you ever picked apples? It's really a lot of fun. Mom and Dad help us to peel the apples and cut them up, And then we pile them into a pie shell. And we sprinkle some cinnamon over the top of that. And some sugar. And then Mom puts it in the oven. I can almost smell that baking. That's going to be so yummy. At last the pie is cooked and ready to be eaten. Our tree has grown us not only apples, but an apple pie. It smells so good and tastes delicious. There's nothing as good as apple pie that you grew yourself. Well, today, we're not going to make a whole apple pie, but we're going to make something that kind of tastes like an apple pie. September is also Whole Grains Month, and so we're going to use a whole grain tortilla. And you could use a white tortilla if you wanted to, but today we're going to use the whole grain. It actually looks really pretty when it's toasted because it gives it a little bit more brown color, and you really don't even know that it's a whole grain. To make our quick apple pie, we're going to use the tortilla and make an apple quesadilla. So it's going to taste kind of like an apple pie, but it's going to be really quick and easy. So we're going to take our tortilla, and then we're going to take some applesauce. And it can be unsweetened applesauce, or it could be some with cinnamon in it. That would work as well. Or if you had lots of apples, you could cook your own and make your own applesauce. And parents, this is another one of those activities that the kids can actually do themselves. We're going to just spoon some applesauce onto our tortilla and spread it around just a little bit. And then we've taken this apple, which we've washed really well. And remember, before we cook, we need to wash our hands too. We're going to take this apple that we've washed and we've chopped it up. And we've got little pieces of apple. And we're going to just spread some of those. You could use your fingers if you wanted just to spread those apples around on top of the applesauce on your quesadilla. And then we're going to take some cheese. And this is, you don't have to put cheese in it, but if you could, actually cheddar cheese is really good with apple pie. And we're going to sprinkle just a little bit of cheese on there. And then what was that one ingredient that always makes apples taste delicious? What about some cinnamon? So we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on our apple pie quesadilla. And once we get that on there, we're going to fold it over. And then you can put that into a skillet that you've put a little bit of vegetable oil, canola oil, or a little bit of margarine. You could even just spray it with some cooking spray. And we're going to toast both sides of that quesadilla till it gets warm and the applesauce is warm and the apples are warm and that cheese is melted. And then we're going to cut it into pieces, and we can even cut it into triangles, kind of like you would an apple pie. And that's a really yummy snack. It's a great way to get in some whole grains as well as some fruit. Tastes good, and it's fun to make. I hope you'll join us again for another segment of Storytime Cooks, where we learn about food through books.
We love food colored green, bell peppers and long string beans, pickles, celery, cucumbers too.